This week, we have a surprising find that was brought to our attention, and we took it up.
Yeah.
And we watched it.
Yeah, it was a good recommendation.
Yes, and we enjoyed it.
That's true.
Which means we're back on the enjoyment train.
Stop. You're going to jinx us.
I'm not going to jinx us. We have like 20 movies still on the list that we've seen that have been on there since we began this podcast when we made the list. So we know those are good.
Well, I mean, most of them are good. Some of them are not.
Name one.
Well, I don't know all the ones on the list off the top of my head.
Well, we picked ones deliberately that were good because they're from our list of movies that we liked.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure though that like the Toxic Avenger is on there.
It's good. Hey, it's a thing. Anyway, we have a lot. I wish, see, now here's where I wish that I felt like continuing the recording. We never recorded the intros anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
No one knows the things that I do to you when we're doing these intros.
So Danny has a zombie rubber duck in a shirt and tie on her microphone.
His name is Pietrov.
You're not going to get to me. A lot of good stuff to talk about on this. So gear up, folks, because a lot of praise. Actually, I don't think there's one critical thing that we picked out. A little bit of a spoiler there.
I mean, not really. If I had to, like if I was forced to say a critical thing, I guess I would say, it was a little predictable at times. But
I think that's part of the thing, though.
Yeah.
I'm just
saying if I was forced to pick something.
Okay, well, that's fair. I would disagree, and we'd have a long discussion about it, but since we're coming into this, we're not going to, and we didn't, so we shan't.
I'd watch it again, though.
Yes, I would like to watch it again, without taking notes, because it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And we think you guys are going to enjoy listening to us talk about it. And then you should go watch the thing, right?
On Tubi.
Yeah. All right. Shall we get going?
I would like to, and so would Pietrov.
I'm sure he would. Yeah.
Quack, quack.
Okay. We're off.
Quack. Hey, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Danny.
This is Jim.
And this week, we have an indie film that did pretty well at festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little more serious. It's a horror.
Yeah, horror thriller.
It's like a psychological horror.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting storyline. And it's just very beautifully done.
It is. And there's a lot of little points of it to talk about on what makes it what it is.
Yes.
So good. Couple of things. So, today we're recording. It's August 30th.
Your birthday.
Well, that wasn't one of the things, but yes, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Couple days ago, August 28th, we lost Chadwick Boseman in his fight with colon cancer. I put a couple things out on posts, and obviously, folks, when you're listening to this, it's going to be a couple of weeks later. Just wanted to acknowledge, the loss of an amazing talent. And I mean, we didn't know him personally,
right.
And not many did who are, saying very nice things about him, and what he did. But one of the things I put in the post was just, it's not often, it's very rare that an actor is as badass as the character that they play.
Right.
And I tell you what, Chadwick Boseman was more badass than Black Panther, than any Marvel superhero, than any character you can pick from a movie. To go through that all those years and to still show up for panels and interviews. There's just rampant videos of when he would surprise people.
Yeah.
Right. They would do the like after screening things or some events and, you know, what does Black Panther mean to you? And bam, there's Chadwick coming out of the curtains, you know. He was so good. And we have not seen Defy Bloods yet, getting to it. I mean,
and on top of it, filming action movies.
Right. I mean,
that whole time,
you know, but there was something about him. And, you know, when somebody passes, you don't want to talk negative about them. And that's not saying I'm going to. I'm saying, but you also, when you compliment people, a lot of the stuff that he has been complimented with is just, it's not even hitting the mark. You know, there's that thing that they used to call the it factor that actors would have, men and women. There's just something, you can't describe it. You can't put terminology to it.
Right.
They just had it. And he did.
Yes.
The way you cannot, as an actor, you can manipulate your body language, but there is something you cannot do. If you don't have that that confidence, that inner power, any movement you do, when he would walk and swagger on screen, that is what made Black Panther such a success. It wasn't the action. It wasn't the dialogue. You know, it wasn't the story.
Well, it was Chadwick.
It was Chadwick, man. When he walked, when I first saw the trailer for Black Panther, and it was still, you know, in post-production when they released the trailers, I was like, motherfucker. He is everything that this character was supposed to have been in the comics, you know? And that's one thing that I also noted, growing up, there weren't a lot of black characters, primary characters in the comics, especially Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Luke Cage, Power Man, right? Had his own thing, but then he and Iron Fist got teamed up for Power Man and Iron Fist because apparently neither one of them could have their own stories. You know, we had the Falcon.
Yes.
Okay. And Falcon was actually my first superhero action figure. The 10-inch figures that they had.
Yeah.
He was the first one that I had. You know, and then we had T'Challa, you know, Black Panther. We've seen Luke Cage come to screen on Netflix, and I think they did a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
And Falcon, they changed him greatly. Sam, I think, deserved better in the Marvel movies than what they gave him, because he was a little more ballsy in the comics. There was a little more to him. He was a really ancillary character through almost all the Avenger movies. And then we had Black Panther, and Black Panther was my number one. That's why I was so excited. I'm like, what are they doing in a Black Panther movie? You know, I loved the Black Panther comics, and you know, it took all these years for it to get made into a movie that, again, when I saw this man on screen walking, I'm like, oh my God. Not even I could imagine that much oomph, just inner oomph in this character. So his talent is, it's a shame that we're not going to see what more it could have been, because I think it was going to be probably something to, you know, set acting back 50 years and say, you should all just go back and start over, because this is what you should have. And it's going to take you that long to get there. He was just really, really good at what he did.
Yeah. It makes me want to walk out of here right now and just, you know, rewatch Black Panther.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on. That's just one more thing to happen, you know. And before we get into this, just want to say, you know, we're talking about Chadwick because he's a celebrity. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known him at all, because we don't know him personally, right? But in the midst of all this bullshit that's going on with, you know, lockdowns, the pandemic, and just this political fucking nightmare that we're in, and dealing with the problems of this country that after all this time are still not on top shelf, right?
Yeah.
With all this, there are people out there like Chadwick who are suffering their own battles, and I don't think it takes much to be a human being to stop for a second and just kind of look around. And if you even peripherally know of somebody going through some stuff of, fighting cancer or another disease, burdening mental issues, or just fucking having a time of it.
Yeah.
The fact that they're still around and pushing through makes them every bit of a hero, as what Chadwick was doing. And take a moment and acknowledge them, because there's very little good in the world at this point. And I think people going through things and pushing on is something we can all take inspiration from. So that's
well
kind
said.
of what because I've had the weekend to think about this and just, these terrible losses. And, the reality is it's one of many thousands who are going through the same thing. They're just not in movies. They're not authors. They're not, they're just somebody's mom or dad or
Right.
Son or daughter or brother, sister kind of thing. So, take a moment, folks, and hit the pause button on these B movies. Look around, make a phone call, send an email, send a text. And if you know someone like this, just say, you know what? You're a fucking monster superhero.
Yeah.
Just because you're you. That's my thing that's been cooking that I wanted to kind of float out there while we can do this.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Well, thank you. All right. So back to what we're here for.
Why don't you tell us about this movie?
I am going to a little history first. So the reason this movie popped up is one of our followers on Twitter is in it, and he DM'd with a list of movies that he's been in. And this is what I call the Donnie. Oh my God. Well, I'm looking at names here. Danny Trejo method. Okay. So this is one of the stars of the film is Dave Vecchio, and he, like Danny Trejo, his Twitter profile, I love it. He's like ex-con who's found his place in Hollywood, right? So he's playing small parts, bad guys, or just kind of like functionaries and stuff, like Danny did, right?
Yeah.
And he's just kicking it. He's pushing through. He's doing it. He's doing the whole Twitter thing. He's really, working at it for years. So went through the list and we picked this bad boy off of it.
Indeed.
And then it got even more interesting. So the name of this movie is Muse. It's 2017, directed by John Burr, written by John Burr, starring Riley Egan, Elle Evans, Kate Mansi, Lou Ferrigno Jr.
Right?
I know. And Dave Vecchio. So this one did not have a rating. It would definitely have been rated R.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't get a budget. I'm going to read the log line. A painter's life is forever changed when a mythical and deadly spirit from Celtic lore, Lianan Shee, becomes his muse and lover. Now, what makes this interesting is I found Muse on Tubi. So you can find it there, folks. It's free. However, if you type Muse into IMDb or do any search, there's like 40 things, films, musicals, documentaries, stuff, all called Muse. So this was 2017. It spent a lot of time in festivals and, it spent 3 years in festivals. Had a theatrical premiere at 2018 in Vietnam. Its theatrical premiere in the US was 2019. Now, interestingly enough, there's a 2020 version of this called Legend of the Muse.
Yes.
It's the same movie, folks. There's I think 7 minutes difference in running time, Legend of the Muse is 7 minutes longer. So, as we know, during festivals, especially if films are running a festival circuit for like a year or two, there'll be a lot of little edits to the film.
Right.
Right. Because they go by on audience feedback and critics' reviews, and do what they can to make some adjustments before this gets like, the final release, the golden release. So it's just interesting that we haven't seen The Legend of the Muse.
Right.
Right. It's on Amazon, but you have to pay to rent it. And we just didn't have time. And I didn't want to go through that right now. So I'm not sure what the extra edits differences are, but it fascinated me that this movie had been bouncing around for 3 years and then finally gets a remastered. I don't even want to say remastered. Just gets a whole new life under Legend of the Muse. And it's funny because both of them are listed under IMDb and neither one mentions the other.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, that is what we're dealing with. So what we're talking about is the 2017 version, which is the festival and limited release in Vietnam and US. And apparently had a huge thing in Vietnam because a lot of stuff I found was in Vietnamese.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It is available on Tubi.
It is available on Tubi. We haven't actually used Tubi before.
No.
And if you don't know what it is, let me just say, it's worth it. It's free. It breaks up movies with commercials. And that's why it's free, because the commercials pay for stuff. But not all movies. It's weird. Like, I tested it out with Battleship Earth. Or Battlefield Earth. And just to have it in the background while I was cooking, because I wanted to see what we're dealing with, right?
Sure. And
ran through that whole fucking thing.
Movie's awful.
Yeah. Well, that's why it probably doesn't have any advertising. So, but I notice a lot of the newer stuff does and everything. So, and I know most people have heard of it. We just don't get into all that. We don't have time to check out every TV/movie app, all the different stations that are streamed through their apps and stuff. I mean, we stick with like the big three and, we do all right. And we just don't have time. Like we fired up Peacock. There's a lot of good stuff on there too, but I don't have the fucking time to.
Well, the only reason we fired up Peacock was for the new Psych movie.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
that's true. I've watched a couple things on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So,
Lassie come home.
Lassie come home. There's another one. Lassie. I mean, he had a stroke.
Oh, that's true. Timothy Amundsen.
Yep. And I tell you what, he is just knocking the fucking block off of all the odds, man. And that's the stuff I look for. Movies are great, but you know what? This real life bullshit, that's what I love.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
So.
Okay. Why don't you bring us into this movie so we can talk about it and all the stuff?
I shall. So we start in the woods. There's a truck. It's got a flat tire. And there's two guys. One guy is changing it. And his friend hears something in the woods. So he gets the guy out of the truck and he goes into the woods to check it out. And, he's wandering and the woods look pretty empty. It's kind of nighttime. So he doesn't see anything. So he turns around to leave and then there's something right behind him. And he turns and shoots it. And it's a guy who, this guy that he shot looks almost like a zombie.
Right. He's
very gray skinned and gaunt and
he's a hobo is how he's referenced.
Right.
Yeah.
So the guy drops to the ground and he's holding a harmonica in one hand. So then the guy turns back around and something comes up and kills him from behind. And his friend, who's up changing the tire, hears this and just books.
Well, yeah.
Nope. Not about it. So then we're with an artist who seems like he's just waking up. And it's almost like he was maybe dreaming this.
Yeah, it could definitely have that.
Or it was a vision.
That vibe.
Yeah. So he wakes up and he's been sleeping on a drafting table. And he looks at this sketch of a woman's eyes. My laptop went to sleep. I know.
How dare it?
Weird, right? Huh. Okay.
Well, I never let mine sleep.
Anyway.
Yes.
So then we kind of have the credits. And over the credits, there are all these really beautiful shots of him going through the full process of making a fresh canvas. Mm-hmm. He's putting together the frame. He's stretching out the canvas, wrapping and stapling and stretching and, sanding the frame before he puts the canvas on it. And it's a lot of really lovely kind of close-ups and...
It's very intimate.
Yeah.
And if I can just aside this for a second, I think anyone who is a creative, particularly an artist, will find this endearing and touching and that level of intimacy, because this is a part of the process of being a painter. We've talked about it some time ago. Painters make their own canvas and frames, everything. It's just not something that's often done. And it's a very vital, obviously, part.
Well, yeah.
And I loved that that's where we spent our intro time. And like you said, it was beautifully shot. But I think, folks, if you watch this, if you're just if you're creative at all, you'll get this tiny little part of the larger process, the focus on it. Because it's the same with writing and with directing and, planning stuff out in your head. There are things that have to be done that aren't often celebrated.
Well, right.
Yeah.
People talk about the painting, they don't talk about the brushes and the paints and the,
or the finished product. And, he's done these paintings and they're great and stuff, but you got to step back and think, you got a guy with a table saw, he's been cutting the wood and just and not like slapping it together, No. The same kind of care goes into these little steps and all these different processes for all the different kinds of, creativity. That the same care and attention goes into that as the bigger product.
Yeah.
Writing a script, there's a lot of little things that have to happen, but nobody really haphazardly just like, okay, let's write. Yeah.
So, at the end of the credits, he's staring at this blank sketch pad, and then behind him on the wall, there's a blank canvas set against it. Mm-hmm. And he's looking out a window, and then we get the sense that, it was some time ago, and he was watching a woman in an apartment from his window. So he's going through the building, and he runs into the landlord, who tells him that he's going to need to raise the rent again. So now we're kind of like into reality.
Right. Minor correction. Not that he has to raise the rent again, that he has raised the rent again.
Right.
Which apparently our main character wasn't aware of. Because when a landlord has to go around and say, so I've had to raise the rent, and so you owe me extra.
Right.
Dick.
Well, and it was so funny because this landlord's like, gotta get the cockroaches out somehow. And he's talking about bad tenants. And he's like, not you, but you owe me $50 because of the raised rent now. So. Yeah.
When can I have that?
Right. So this other guy comes in, and this guy's big. And he doesn't give a fuck about the landlord.
No.
And the landlord, who was just an asshole to our painter, is now like kind of a bitch towards this big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Well, I think it did good in setting up. So our painter is the kind of guy someone can be a dick to.
Right.
Right. But that same guy, like this landlord, is the type who will jump on the weak and cower from the strong.
Yeah.
Right. Take their opportunity to feel mighty and then, act like a little wuss when push comes to shove.
Mm-hmm.
When, this, and I want to just call him Jersey Boy. The guy who came off the elevator.
Yeah.
He's just this really, like, he spends his time between, Jersey and fucking Queens, back and forth. He's just physically burly and he's got the attitude like, yeah. And then we'll just, stare you the fuck down until you cower like this guy did.
Yeah. So we learn the artist, the painter's name is Adam. And he uses the distraction while the big guy is talking to the landlord to sneak up into the elevator and get away.
Yes.
So the next thing we know, we see him on the roof and he's sketching. And then we kind of hear this kind of like whispery.
Yeah, the under the wind whispers kind of thing. And this is where it gets, this was a little weird. So we're back in the woods, right?
Yeah.
And it's dark now. And the second guy from the truck thing is sneaking back to the truck and crawling into it to grab something. And he's creeping along in the dark. And then all of a sudden, this woman figure just comes rushing out and tackles him. And then we cut back to the rooftop. And Adam is up there still. And the big guy from the elevator, his name is Hector. He's bugging Adam. He's looking through Adam's sketchbook and he's like, your work is good. And Adam says it's missing something, but he doesn't know what. He's trying to figure it out. So Hector tells him he needs to get out of this shithole. Says he needs a lift to a friend's place outside of town. He'll pay Adam for the gas and says the place will inspire him. Right. Says he says it's 2 hours of his time and it will fix everything for you. And then he leaves. So Adam goes back to looking through his sketchbook. And when he goes downstairs, he runs into the woman from the apartment across the way from him. They bump into each other, drops all of his stuff. She picks up his book and sees real quickly a sketch of herself.
Right.
And he's like, he snatches it back. She introduces herself. This is Maria. And she invites him to swing by a gallery opening later that night. And he just grabs his book and stuff and runs off. He gets back into his apartment, and his apartment it's typical. It's kind of the trope artist, which oddly doesn't differ a lot from reality. in some of these places,
except that his apartment's huge.
Well, it is massive, and I guess that's that's like anyone who watched the show Friends. You're watching the show thinking not one of these motherfuckers could have afforded a 50th of one of these apartments. Right. All of them together couldn't pay for one of them. I know. With the rent, with the jobs and shit they had. But other than the size, it's just filled with art stuff. Easels, canvas, things, his table saw and some other things.
Paints.
Paints and just all kinds of stuff. And little else.
Right.
But I mean, if you're that wrapped up in it, why would you need anything else? Yeah. So I'm okay with a lot of that. It's just super huge. And for a starving artist, way too huge.
Right. And the building itself is also one of those very almost kind of tropish, like it's a shabby, broken down old building, old brick, raftery.
Converted industrial building, factory or warehouse or something like that. Yeah. Which, those are the thing. Those are the most expensive.
I know.
You pay top dollar to live in the shittiest part of town in the oldest rundown building that there is.
Yep.
In every city. Anyway, like I said, it's very sparse. He's drawing, he's looking out the window, and he sees Maria across the way taking off her shirt. And then he gets kind of a little uneasy. And I couldn't help at this moment, but I wrote down this guy could be Michael Fassbender's younger brother. He looks so much like him. That's just my opinion.
That's fair.
All right. So later, he's at the gallery, runs into Maria. They step to the bar, get a drink. She looks nervous. She's looking around. And I got to admit, at this point, I was kind of thinking, oh, are we going to have, in addition to everything else, he's going to get caught up with whatever we got planned in the plot. He's going to get caught up with this woman, and she's got some like super seedy, shady shit going on and all that, Okay. But nope. She's just she's on the lookout for this guy who pops up.
Right.
And asks who Adam is. And then she introduces this guy as Jason. And he's one of the artists who is on exhibition. Jason clearly establishes himself as a dick.
Yes.
And also that he has a relationship with Maria, which is why he's over there lurching, protecting his territory.
Yeah.
All that alpha wolf bullshit. So she steps off with Jason. Adam starts to wander around. And then an older woman approaches him, saying he looks lost. And she's the gallery owner. She tells him that every true artist has something calling out to them, waiting to be discovered, to inspire him, a muse. And he says he's trying.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of a really just, and it's not like this cryptic stuff. It's just typical, she can see that he's an artist, and obviously he's not on her walls. So,
right.
And he's at a showing. Most artists who are successful and doing their thing aren't at other low-end artists' showings. That's just the way it is. They're busy with their own stuff. He clearly has time on his hands, so a good gallery owner will be like, here's a guy who hasn't sold anything, But I thought it was...
She was nice.
She was nice, and I liked the... it wasn't overly done, but I just liked the subtle undertone of her character that in the art community, a good gallery, anyone who's in charge of something and they're a good person is going to do things like this. Just little, you'll find it, you got to find that thing and then you'll be here.
Yeah.
Right. Telling someone else they got to find that thing sort of thing. So I like that. So he's back in his apartment then later, sitting at his drawing table and having at it.
Yeah. And then he looks and he sees Maria through the window and she's with Jason.
Yep.
And they start, taking off their clothes and everything. And he's like, I'm out. So he goes and he knocks on Hector's door. And I know you want to say it. So,
I do. So in your notes, you referred to him as 305.
Right.
That's his apartment number.
Yeah.
I loved it. He knocks on 305's door.
Well, yeah, because I hadn't caught Hector's name. So I was just like 305.
It just amused me.
Hey, it helped me just differentiate.
It works.
Anyway, so Adam's going to go on this little road trip after all. And as they're driving, Hector tells him to stop at this little shack, almost.
Yeah.
That's kind of at the edge of some woody area.
Like a giant, multi-roomed outhouse.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of gross. And I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know what's so inspiring about this. But he tells Adam to stay in the car and be ready. So clearly not on the up and up, this whole situation.
No.
And then Hector goes inside, just kind of barges inside and terrifies this like junky looking blonde guy who's sitting there playing a video game. Asking for his stuff. Obviously, it's some drug deal. They're supposed to have some product that Hector wanted. They don't have it. They said the guy's never made it.
Right.
And at this point, I'm like, oh, it's probably those guys that we saw earlier in the movie.
Yeah, we're starting to line the puzzle pieces up.
Right.
Appropriate edges.
The ones that we saw get offed. So,
yes.
Adam is, then it's sort of weird because Adam hears the whispers, and then he wakes up in his apartment and he has his paintbrush and there's a gorgeous painting of a woman's eyes in front of him.
Right.
And then we're back to the woods.
Well, we're back to him in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it kind of gave him some sort of vision or flashback or memory.
Right.
Or projection.
Right.
You know.
Weird.
Yeah.
So Adam gets out of the car and starts to wander around the woods. And he hears the whispers again. I'm going to do that every time I mention them, by the way.
Please
so
do.
You know.
Please do.
Yeah. And he gets a little scared. Meanwhile, Hector is rushing out of the house with the druggies coming after him, and he's yelling at Adam. He's like, "Where the fuck are you? Get back to the car." And Adam runs back to the car, and they start driving off. They're going down the road, and suddenly there's a woman standing in the middle of the road.
Yeah. Just there it is in the headlights.
Mm-hmm. And Adam slams on the brakes. So then we're near the truck with the flat tire.
Yeah, where he skids off the road.
Yeah.
And just a few yards.
Right.
Yeah.
And Hector recognizes the dead guy, and he's like, "Oh, it's my guys. That's why they never..." And he grabs something out of the truck.
Right.
And then Adam sees the woman again at the edge of the woods. And then she's kind of like disappearing and reappearing and fucking with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And Hector is not having it. He's super pissed. And there's one point where she's suddenly at the car.
Yeah.
Right? And so they both can see her.
Mm-hmm.
She's suddenly at the car, and he shoots at her. And then he like basically pushes Adam into the car and says, "We're leaving." And Adam doesn't want to leave her. He's like, "We can't just leave her there." But he's being shoved in the car. And
well, yeah, Hector's the one driving at this point. Yeah.
So they're back in the city now. And Adam lingers in the car for a little while after Hector gets out.
Yep.
Yeah, he just kind of sits there. And I gotta say, the lighting in this movie is just so well done.
Yes.
It hit me multiple times watching this. I'm like, damn, that lighting.
And we'll talk about it more. But yeah, because we've had broad daylight,
mm-hmm.
broad daylight outside. So broad daylight in various apartments and stuff.
Right.
Broad daylight outside on the rooftop. We've had night outside, night inside.
Mm-hmm.
We've had multiple changes of environments.
Yeah.
And in every single one, again, it was great because not one moment were you like, what the fuck is that over there? What is that over there? You could see everything, even when they're out. The
detail was crystal clear. It was all just like, it was just beautiful.
Yeah. On the road, in the woods, you know,
mm-hmm.
with her, it was just super well done.
Yeah. You
could see what was going on, and it wasn't, you know, was it supposed to be like that? You know, or is it what?
And it's really
fitting.
That? It's really fitting, I think, for a movie about a painter to have the film itself painted with light.
Yes.
Really beautifully.
Yes. And I hope we can remember to get into that a little more. Cause a lot of, what we're going to talk about is, you know, Adam is the main character.
Yeah.
So this is through his perspective, and there are things that he witnesses and stuff like any, you know, character just looking at shit. But I was thinking that same thing. It's really beautiful. Like, this is how a physical artist, you know, a painter or someone who creates physical things with color and mood and emotion, this is how they would see it.
Yeah. And
then the talent of the cinematographer and the lighting, the director, to bring this all together to make that happen visually, because they're artists as well.
Yes.
You know, I thought it was a good pairing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So back to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They go inside, and Hector tells Adam to never talk about what happened and threatens him with a gun. And then leaves.
Yep.
And Adam starts painting, like, feverishly.
Yep.
And he ends up with a painting of the woman in the woods. And then he sort of suddenly wakes up. So he must have passed out doing this. And he doesn't really seem to have a handle on what is going on.
Right.
He's a little out of it. He's a little disoriented.
Well, after what just happened, I don't think it's a stretch to assume. I would be disoriented.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's a big night.
Mm-hmm. Gunplay,
scary things, dead bodies.
Right.
And then a guy who lives next door to you who will fucking kill you if anything about this gets out to anybody.
Yeah, and a strange feral wood woman.
Right. And, you don't need drugs to get that messed up.
Oh.
That shit will do it to you like it did him. So anyway, he gets up, he heads to the bathroom. And he's doing his thing in the mirror, washing up. And then he notices there's like bandages and peroxide on the floor. And then something zips past the door. So, he goes out looking. And then he sees the woman who was in front of the car, who was popping around the forest. She's looking at his painting. And he slowly walks out. And you can see he's clearly just awed.
Right.
Right. The woman turns, stares at him.
Yeah.
And then walks out of the room.
Really intently.
And I know there's a little more to be said about this. I just want to say, well done.
Yeah.
Saying that she just stares at him and walks out is way oversimplifying the situation. So then we cut to him in bed, and someone is knocking on the door, waking him up. So he answers the door, and it's Hector.
Mm-hmm.
Hector invites himself in. He sees the painting of the woman in the forest and knows who she is.
Well, he does compliment it.
Yeah. But then he goes on about how she saw both of their faces, and that is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So Hector pulls this big money wad out of his pocket, gives Adam $300, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we're cool, right? And he's like, yeah, we're cool. So he gives him the $300 for gas. And then he pulls a gun out saying that if Adam had the wrong answer to his "Are we straight?" question, that would have been the result. And then he walks out.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's just cover this for a second. So the night before, enough things have happened that would fuck up any sane person. And just as you wake up, you see this forest woman in your place,
right,
inexplicably. And then you go back to bed, and then you get woken up later by your neighbor who fucked you up the first night with all of his shit. And now he's, waving his gun in your face saying, well, the wrong answer will lead to this. No wonder. If this is this guy's life, no wonder he is sullen.
It's a little stressful.
Jesus Christ. Or maybe this is why he never went outside. Like, I don't want any part of this kind of stuff.
Right.
The moment he does, bam. Okay, so we're at the gallery. Adam is there, and he catches the attention of the owner. So then we see them sitting in her office, and she's going through pictures of his work on, he had his tablet with him. So he handed it to her. She's going through all the pictures he took of his work. As she's talking, we cut back to his apartment, and the woman is there. She glides up on top of a table.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of like bending down and doing the chicken jump,
she's just kind of like on her toes, and then.
Yeah. And it was so quick and subtle.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's looking all over his work.
Yeah.
Throughout the apartment. I mean, she's just like, she's not just like, giving it a glance. She's like, heads bobbing.
She's intently examining every
bit. And they did do a good part with the camera to show, that her eyes would be taking in.
Yeah.
Instead of just staring straight. And then we cut back to the gallery, and the owner wants him to bring some of his work back to her so she can see it in person. So Adam splits. And then we cut to Hector who is outside the apartment parking lot, is having a smoke. And he looks up and sees the woman in Adam's window.
Yeah.
And he's off. Next thing we see is him busting in Adam's door, calling to the woman with his gun out. So he loses his temper, starts smashing shit around and calling out for her,
Right.
Hey lady, hey woman, hey whatever.
I know you're here.
Yeah, bam, 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 and busting all of Adam's shit. And then he sees her. So he uncocks his gun, puts it in his pants, saying he just wants to talk. And the woman is silent. So Hector tells her she's pretty, touches her face and hair. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
And then he says, I hate to do this. I really hate to do this. Sometimes life's a bitch. And then he lunges at her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we cut to Adam getting in the elevator, and he's smiling for the first time.
This whole movie.
Because he's a bit sullen. But we get it, because, obviously he's a painter. He's not making money.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for that thing.
Yeah.
But now he's like all grins. His break has come. So he gets up and he notices his door kicked in, and he goes in, sees his stuff tossed all over and knocked around. And then he sees blood, a lot of blood on the floor. He follows it and discovers something, and it makes him ill, and he turns away from it. Behind him, the woman rises up into frame.
Right.
And approaches him, and she's covered in blood. He turns, and she just looks at him, and he smiles, and they hug. And then we see him covering Hector's body with a tarp. So that's what he saw that made him ill, was Hector on the floor. And then cleaning up the massive amounts of blood from the floor. And he puts Hector's handgun into a dresser drawer. So later he's in the shower cleaning up. We see the woman slowly, quietly walking in. She stops outside of the shower and stares for a bit, then leaves. And I like when they do this kind of stuff. I don't know if they mean for it to be an homage, but I always will take it as an homage to Hitchcock and Psycho. Just the thought from when you're shooting from inside the shower and you can see a figure through the curtain, just the outline, the shadow. Just, it always sets up for me. Okay, there are 40 different fucking things that could happen right now. Which is it going to be? Which way are we going to go? Because it's unsettling. We talked about it with Babadook, the Babadook movie.
Yeah.
About her friend with the clown mask coming into a shower. Just how creepy it is to have somebody in the bathroom, right?
Yeah. Wasn't that the sofa one?
Was it?
I think it was the sofa.
Yeah,
one.
Killer Sofa. Yeah,
Killer
the Babadook is what was in the sofa.
The Babadook is its own movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
You're wrong.
No, because Killer Sofa, it was a Babadook. That's what they were hunting. Remember? It was an evil spirit, the Babadook. That
Babadook.
What?
It doesn't matter.
Or the Dabook.
Dabook. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Thank you.
But I knew what I was talking about.
I know.
The Dabook.
Dabook. Whatever it was.
Dubois. Anyway.
Diddly-doo.
So anyway, from Killer Sofa, the scene, the concept of anybody in the bathroom while you're taking a shower. Because if you didn't already have this ingrained in you, after seeing Psycho at any age, any version of Psycho really.
Right.
But I'm going to stick with the original. Just the concept of when you're bare ass naked in the shower, you are at your most vulnerable. When you're sleeping, something can wake you up. You have shit you can grab. There's things you can do. You usually got your jammies on unless you sleep commando, but either way.
In the shower, you're naked, you have no weapons, and you're slippery.
You're slippery. You're in a confined space.
Yeah.
I mean, you've literally got nowhere to go. It is just haunting to see a presence in the shower. And I think that's why a lot of people use it Like, for, oh, it's just her friend in a clown mask. Like, a clown mask is not creepy. And what's up with the friend?
Why is the friend coming into the...
Right?
It's fucked up.
We're married. We're a family.
Yeah.
I don't like anyone coming into the bathroom when I'm taking a shower.
Yeah.
On rare occasion, someone, when you have to use the bathroom, you have to use the bathroom. And we have just the one.
Right.
So a couple of times that happens. But this one thing neither one of us do is, hey, I'm just going to come in and get a brush. I'm just looking for something.
Right.
Whatever.
It can wait.
Or worse yet, not saying anything. Tap, 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 tap. Rummage, rummage, rummage. And then try to sneak out before being seen.
Right.
Right? Oh, fuck. I don't like the idea of that just because it is a very, it's a huge moment of weakness for anybody in that situation.
Well,
it's
it really is
vulnerable. All right. But none of the 40 things that I had running through my head creatively, happen. She just leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then Adam is in his bedroom and he's sitting on his bed. She's in the living room on a stool, staring out of a window. Her dress is gone. And I got to say this,
call it a dress. It's not much in the way of fabric.
I am trying to think of what manner of clothing would describe this. It's a knit thing, but it's just like,
well, it's like a shredded.
Well, you can clearly see her body, like almost every inch of it. There's like these 3-inch bits of thread that
like
are
a shredded, gauzy.
Yeah. But anyway, I was hoping by now I would have an idea of what to call it. I'm sure there's a name for it in the fashion industry, but I wouldn't even know how to fucking search for it, But anyway, that's gone. And, she's, I thought she was wearing a sweatshirt, but it turns out she was wearing a regular shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the size. Adam's a little guy. He's not like one of the 6'2" heroes,
right? But
he's got broad shoulders. And that's when I saw her later, I saw that, oh, okay, it's not a sweatshirt. It's just she's wearing his shirt.
Yeah. She's also just very petite.
Well, and she's teeny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the difference in that shirt just looked sweatshirt style, but it was just his shirt and there's just so much extra room. Anyway, not that has any effect on the movie. So, Adam walks in, says nothing, starts to grab some paints and starts to paint on an empty canvas as she sits there. And then she turns to look at him. And then
I just put in here, as she's sitting, staring out the window on the stool, mm-hmm. There's like red curtains behind her and they're lit from behind.
Yes.
And it's this like, it looks like a painting.
Yeah.
Her sitting there.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
It comes to the entire shot composition.
Yeah.
It was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was art.
Yes.
As we're observing art. Yes. And then it's morning and he's standing in front of his canvas looking at what he painted and she's still on the stool. She gets up, walks over, looks at him and then walks away.
Yes. So, he is meeting the gallery owner. He's talking to her in this next scene. Her name is Valerie, mm-hmm. and she's really impressed with his work. Because he's got more stuff that he's shown her.
Right.
And as he's leaving, he runs into Maria and he's like, Valerie wants to show my work. I'm going to have a gallery thing. And the boyfriend, Jason,
yes,
shows up and is just like this total tool, fake nice. And he's like, Adam, if you need help on your work, I know, as a new artist, it's hard. So just ask.
I can't remember the exact words and I don't want to.
It was very patronizing.
Because I didn't write them down either. But yeah, it's very, you just want to kick him and watch his balls fly out up through his torso, out his ears.
Yeah.
God, dick.
Right. So back in his apartment, Adam asks the woman if she has a name. And this whole time, she hasn't said a single word.
Right.
Not one. And he's talking about how he's glad he found her. And she just doesn't answer. She says nothing. Apparently, that's not a deal breaker for him. Because he's just painting again. And then there's a little bit of a show of time passing with the lights behind him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. And you get the sense that, a couple weeks maybe have gone by. And then we see the woman walking behind him, and then she walks seductively into the bedroom. That's the only way I can,
Well, yeah.
Because she's like taking off the shirt as she goes.
Yeah. I don't think anyone would question what the intent was.
Right. And then she goes into the bathroom and gets in the shower. And Adam is following her into the shower. I mean, it was clearly an invitation, right?
Right.
And he's just about to open the curtain, and then there's a noise.
Yeah.
And he goes out. It's the landlord who's pissed off that the door frame is broken.
Yeah, he's let himself into the apartment.
Right. Because the door frame was broken.
Yeah. Which, it nothing to do with the movie, but just that bugged me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we have not had to deal with landlords like this, but they're out there. That the fuckers are just like come in your place, always up in your shit, nosing into your business.
Right.
It's highly illegal.
Yes.
But they do it because they can get away with it because no one has time to chase this shit down.
No.
Right. But anyway.
So he starts yelling at Adam about the frame and says that he's going to need to charge him more. And then he gets suspicious that Adam might have someone living there because he hears a noise or hears the shower going.
Here's a noise from the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the water dripping.
Yeah. And then, so Adam kind of eventually talks him into leaving. Because he goes and checks the bathroom and there's nothing there. And Adam's like, leave.
Yeah.
So the landlord's about to leave and he goes to throw away the broken part of the door frame that he's been holding into the garbage can, opens it and sees Hector's body in there.
Yeah. And it's not it's not like your 13-gallon kitchen garbage thing.
It's like curbside.
Yeah. He's got the two big things to put. Right. Or the one big thing to put all of his shit in.
Yeah. So, the landlord starts freaking out. He's going to call 911. He's going to do this and that and this. And then the woman, comes up behind him and just kills the fuck out of him.
Yep. Fuck me.
Snaps his neck so hard that it breaks the skin and blood splatters everywhere.
Yes. Rips like half of the flesh.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's wild. And then she walks up to Adam, covered in blood, both of them are, and starts kissing them, and they are getting busy. So, in the middle of the night, after all that, Adam gets up and just starts like dicing up the bodies.
With his table saw.
And he can hide them in this loose part of the floor where earlier in the film he dropped a paintbrush.
Right. And
it rolled and it went down in this kind of little like, I don't know, architectural anomaly where the floor kind of goes up and there's almost like a cubby space or storagey space under there.
Yeah. It's, it's like in a house, under the house, there's that space between the actual floor and the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of places. Yeah. So there's about, what would you say? Almost a foot, about a foot of space.
A foot or two of space. Yeah.
Yeah. From the floor. Then this is all the inner workings of stuff. And then, the ceiling of whatever's below him under there.
Right. So he's going to hide these body parts in that loose part of the floor where he lost his paintbrush, and he's pouring concrete over them. So he's just stuffing the bodies in there.
Yeah.
and mixing concrete in a little bucket.
Well, they are in baggies.
Yeah. And then pouring the concrete on top of them.
Yeah.
So then we get a montage of sex and painting and body disposal. And does that amuse you?
It does.
Well, it's what it is. And
it's the trifecta.
Sex and painting and body disposal.
Yep.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
How I live my life. Although I'd substitute painting for writing.
Yeah.
Sex, writing, and body disposal.
Yeah, I like it. So we end up with his paintings being hung in the gallery. And it's at one of his showings. He's got, he's being exhibited.
Right.
And Maria is there admiring his artwork. And, it's not like his opening in the gallery. It's just his stuff is being displayed in the gallery.
Well, it's set out on the floor and they're working out the arrangements. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Maria's admiring it. And then Jason comes up behind her and has to get her attention away from the painting.
Right.
To get her to go with him. And he's annoyed that he has to do that.
Yes.
So then again at the gallery, Adam comes out of the gallery and Jason is there and Jason confronts him. And he's like, Valerie hasn't been interested in my work recently. And Adam does a return of the snarky comment from before that the boyfriend said to him, that Jason said to him. Can't remember what exactly he said, but it was funny.
Well, if you have any questions or you need anything, let me know.
I know it's hard being yesterday's news, is I think what he said.
So yeah, something. It was a perfect square center ball kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back at the apartment, Adam is going up through the hallway and he sees Hector's drug buddies banging on Hector's door. And he's like, oh shit. And he slips into the apartment quietly. And then he can hear through the walls Maria and her boyfriend arguing.
Well, not through the walls. Through.
Oh, yeah, through the window.
Yeah, they're across. I don't know what the layout of this apartment, of this building is, that they're at such a weird fucking angle.
Yeah.
But they're far enough where Maria doesn't seem to care that she's tits out all the time with her windows wide open. Mm-hmm. But close enough where the arguing could be heard.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then inside his apartment, the woman is all over him again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have him bumping into Maria in the hallway, and she has a black eye.
Yeah.
And he takes her up to the roof, and they're talking. And she says that Jason, left after he did this to her, and she doesn't think that he's going to come back. And they have a little bit of a moment where she's resting her head on his arm, kisses him on the cheek, makes comments about, she's clearly interested in him.
Right. There's one thing about this that she says, I just want to point out, because I thought it was, again, I don't know the meaning of why it was put in, if it was just part of dialogue or if they actually had an intention. But when she says, he didn't used to be like this. And Adam said, yes, he was.
Yeah.
I just love that because two things. One, yeah, it's a horror movie and bad shit's going to happen to people, but we did not have to suffer through Jason beating her.
Right.
Right. It was not necessary to show violence against a woman. We insinuated it with their arguing, and then she shows up with a black eye. You can put two and two together.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a perfect example of, see, we don't need this shit on film.
Yeah.
That narrative was 100% without question with those two shots.
Mm-hmm.
This over here, skip all the rest. Here she is with a black eye. We get it. And I liked just the fact that, yes, he was. Because these people are that way all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that some take a little longer to get more comfortable with the situation. They're not pretending anymore. Mm-hmm. And then the shit falls down. So I just thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. So back in his apartment, Adam is sketching the scene of him and Maria on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman comes up behind him, and she's upset about the sketch. She seems jealous.
Mm-hmm.
She like grabs his face and turns it towards hers, and she stares him down for a minute, then like just angrily lets him go and walks away.
She sniffs his cheek.
Oh yeah.
Where Maria kissed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
It was really creepy.
Yeah.
That was another one was like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Yeah. She was almost like very predatory.
Yes.
So then we're back at the gallery, and Adam's talking to Valerie about his show, which is coming up. And she's talking about how he must have found his muse. And she mentions the Lenanchet, which she says is a story from her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful creatures that love you, inspire you, and protect you. And Adam is, from Valerie's point of view, she's just saying this little like folk story that she heard when she was a little girl about the Lenanchet.
Yeah.
And Adam is very unsettled by this little story.
Well, I think I got the sense that she believed in it. All creatives believe in the muse in
Mm-hmm.
one fashion or another, right? None of us just do what we do. We are inspired by something.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's not a person or, a tangible peripheral thing, it's something inside of us. And that's the whole thing is the muse is what brings that to life in you,
Mm-hmm.
And they're supposed to be like Cupid, in the background.
Right.
Swaying things around, little veils and mists of your heart and soul, and bam, all of a sudden, oh, I see now, kind of thing.
Well, I think she believes in it in the same way that she equates the folktale to something real. So she's looking at the photo of the woman,
right?
And she mentions, she's like, she's beautiful, your Lenanchet. So it's, it's not that she sees this woman who's obviously a real woman, right?
Right.
He's painting, and she's equating that relationship that he must have with this woman,
right,
to the folktale.
Well, that's his inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she doesn't think that it's there's actually a vengeful spirit,
right,
living with him,
right,
killing his landlord and a drug dealer.
Sure. Yeah, and Adam's really unsettled by it because it is obviously hitting very close to home.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you can see that. Almost like, I know you're talking with whimsy. This sounds really spot on.
Right.
And plus, I've seen her kill 2 people.
Mm-hmm. And particularly in the conversation with him, with her, Adam is very interested in the bit where this creature protects you.
Right.
And she says, yeah, as long as she's with you, nothing can hurt you. No one can hurt you.
Yeah. Protect you against those who would harm you.
Yeah. And so back at home, the jailers are outside Hector's door again. And Adam initially hides, and then he kind of remembers this conversation with Valerie that just happened. And he's like, huh. And he comes out and asks if they remember him, and he's kind of taunting them.
Yeah, it's giving them shit.
Yeah. And he says, Hector's dead, and now you are too. And he walks inside his apartment and sits down on a stool, facing away from them as they're coming in.
Leaving his door open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly, come at me, bro. Right?
Yep.
Sits on a stool facing away from them and waits. And they come charging in, just yelling at him.
Yep.
And he hears her kill them behind him.
She's like,
And we see it.
Yep.
And he smiles when he hears this happen. And he turns to her and just takes off his coat that's got blood splattered all over it now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was his going to the gallery coat.
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So later, we're at the gallery. Adam is looking a little different look than what that coat would have given him. He's a little more like nouveau.
He's very confident.
Yeah, artsy.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. He's doing quite well. A lot of people, you see him chatting spots around. People are actually engaging with him. And he's having a good time engaging with them, right? Then he spots Maria. They hug. Maria tries to get him to look around at all the, his paintings and some other stuff. Grabs some champagne. And then later they're a bit tipsy. Valerie is staring at them, and Maria kisses him again and then starts hitting on him. Valerie sees this and almost kind of like, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
And I get the sense that Maria is like an art groupie.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of thought Valerie's looking at this with such,
right.
Because clearly Adam is this is his first day as like, the guy that people talk about, but Maria, she was with one, artist who was a dick. I think that's just her thing is, and then she found out he was an artist, and then she's, all in that before Jason's even gone. You can see she was like, hello there.
Yeah.
So, and then Maria heads off, and then, there's Jason. He's been looking. He's been watching this. So, the gallery's empty later. Adam's looking around at the walls. Valerie comes up with a drink and toasts this event and the success. Adam asks her to tell him more about the Lenanger. She explains that they seek out artists. They grow very attached to them, as if they become one with the artist. She says they accomplish amazing things together. And then the artist dies very soon after. And he's like, what?
Right.
And it's funny because this was a very serious, moody, emotionally toned conversation. And she says that, and he literally was like, what?
Yeah.
Snapped out of it.
What?
And she says that he who meets a Lenanger is destined to live a very short life. And it's a bit bleak. But she says the lover of a Lenanger dies happy.
Doing what he loves.
Doing what he loves. It's those around him that suffer a very tragic demise.
Yeah.
So we cut to Maria in her apartment. She sees out of her window. She's like doing laundry and stuff, sitting on the bed. I don't know. She's hanging out. But she sees out of her window across to Adam's window, and she sees a shadow in it. Okay, so the curtain's closed. She sees something move. She tries to wave, but the shadow disappears. So then she's going to his door with a bottle of wine in her hand.
Yeah.
So we get it. She knocks, the door opens. She goes in calling for Adam, tries to turn on a light, but it doesn't work. And then she starts nosing through his apartment. That bugged me.
Yeah.
Does this shit actually happen? Because this happens in movies enough that I have to wonder.
He's clearly not there. What the fuck is she doing in there?
Yeah. Well, the door's open, so that clearly means you can come in and just make yourself at home.
Right.
Anyway, she sees a big drawing of the woman's eyes that we have seen.
A few times.
Yeah. Or I don't want to say the woman's eyes, a woman's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen the small version, and then he did the bigger version, and this has been recurring through. Adam suddenly appears, scaring her. He says she has to go. And then Jason is there.
Yeah.
He punches Adam. Adam says he doesn't know what he's doing, meaning to Jason, you don't know what you're doing. Tells Jason to let Maria go. Jason hits him again, breaks a glass, and then goes towards him with the shard.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then the woman who I just have taken to calling Muse shows up. Adam... So... she's about to do something to Jason.
Yes.
Okay. And Maria is there watching this. And it's like, rather than Maria see Muse kill him, right? Because at this juncture, I'm not sure if she can see her. It's just that kind of weird setup, you know? But Adam lunges and stabs Jason with a palette knife.
Yes.
Right? And the Muse vanishes. She's like, just gone. Because the problem has been dealt with.
Yeah.
Right?
Adam's no longer under threat.
No, he dealt with it. Jason's dead. Adam pulls Maria out of the apartment. So after they go, Muse walks around Jason's body, and then she hears Adam and Maria outside of the door in the hallway. Maria, of course, is flipping out. You know, and I'm like, oh, you know, of course, because that's a lot to take in that took place in the last few seconds.
She just wanted to have a bottle of wine and nose around someone's apartment.
Right. And then there's a murderous ex-boyfriend and getting murdered or, you know, killed in self-defense by, you know, the weaker new boyfriend-ish wannabe. You know.
Whatever he is.
Well, and it makes perfect sense because we saw Adam go through the same thing, you know.
Right.
Guy just needs a ride. Next thing you know, there's fucking gunplay, dead bodies, and spooky things going. And then and the guy putting a gun to your head saying, well,
you know. And when they were on the roof earlier, it's interesting because Marie asks, you know, Adam what, you know, and jokingly, if he could just take care of Jason for her.
Oh, yeah.
And Adam was like, yeah, I would do that.
Yep.
Well, now he has.
He certainly has. So, Maria starts crying, and then Adam is holding her. And then we see inside, Muse is clearly displeased that this is going on.
Yeah, she's watching the shadows under the door and listening, and she is not impressed.
No.
So we have another montage of just shots of stuff happening. There's Adam, and I ended up starting to call her just Shay.
Fair enough.
For Lynn on Shay. But I can call her Muse so that it's not disorienting. So, you know, them painting and, you know, doing stuff together. Maria in shock in her apartment. Valerie staring at one of the paintings. Adam nailing his door shut.
Barricading himself in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Maria looking at the window, trying to see in Adam's apartment. So it goes back and forth between all of those things. And then Adam finally emerges from his apartment. And you can see that it's been a while. He doesn't look well.
He doesn't look well. There are dated, we can't see what they exactly are, but you can see they're dated notices.
Yeah.
That have been piling up on his door.
Yeah, sticking in the cracks.
Yeah.
And and then we're at the gallery and Valerie's talking to a buyer there. And Adam comes up behind her, startling her. And he's showing her some of his new paintings.
Right.
And she's talking about how his new work is brilliant. And then she kind of asks if he's okay. Because he looks real bad.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, are you eating? Are you okay? What's going on? And he says that he can't let anyone get close to him because it's not safe. And then he tells Valerie she's real. So the next thing we know, we're at his apartment. He's brought Valerie there.
Right.
And we see all his new paintings and they are all super dark.
Yes. Very significantly difference in tone.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of reds and blacks and, you know.
Well, and there's, everything has kind of a drawn look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes and the mouths even, you know, not like, but just drawn down and not, they don't scream life. They scream all the dark stuff.
Right.
You know?
I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah. Anxiety and stuff. Yeah, but it's a very different feel.
Yeah. It's starkly different than all of his other stuff. And the paintings of Muse she looks very sinister in them. So Valerie's like, I don't see anyone here. You know, she doesn't believe him.
Right.
She thinks it's all in his head. And she tells him a story about a musician that she knew who became obsessed with his work, ended up going into the forest alone, said he had found his Linanche. And it drove him mad and eventually killed him.
Right.
And then she asks him, you know, Adam, she's like, I think you manifested her to do what you needed to do, right? To make this beautiful artwork. I think you created her in your head. And she asks him what came first, her or the visions. And now it's actually, you know, very clear when he's been waking up and seeing, you know, things. He was having these visions.
Right.
Right. So now he's wondering, was it all in his head? Did he kill all of those people? Because he remembers killing Jason.
Right.
So he's like, was it her? Or was it me? And then Valerie says that the Linanche will only attack someone that might take her lover from her. She's like, you don't have to shut everyone out of your life. You know, in the legend, the only ones that she attacks are the ones that are, you know, threatening to take you from her.
Like Maria trying to bed him down.
Right. Or someone trying to kill him.
Right.
So.
But there's two different. Well, I mean, someone trying to kill him is hurt him.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone trying to have sex with him is taking him from Linanche.
Because she's only immortal as long as she has her lover.
Right. And she is dead ass serious about keeping it that way.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, let's be real. If I had, you know, immortality and the only way to keep it was, you know, to keep the person that I've attached myself to, well, I'll be fucked.
Till the day they die, and then you have to find another artist. Yeah.
Well, but yeah.
But, you know, that's the thing.
So, and then Adam suddenly puts that together in his head, and he's like, she's real. I know why she's not here. We need to go. And then we're in Maria's apartment.
Yeah.
And she hears a noise and goes to like take a look. And it's Muse who just charges at her.
Well, she opens the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Muse is standing there.
Yeah. Well, a little further. Yeah.
Down the hall.
Yeah. It was kind of weird, the placing of it from the back shot to the POV from her, because it looked like she was kind of like right there. She came into frame, and then they cut, and she's like 4 steps back, lunge steps back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary. She's scary.
Let's just keep going. Yeah. And we'll talk about that.
So Maria slams the door and shut, and then scrambles and escapes through the window as Muse is chasing her. And then we kind of have this cat and mousey game where Maria's running through the building, ends up in, I think, the basement, possibly. There's like crates and stuff. She watches Shay come through, or Muse, as I call her Shay in my notes.
Either one.
Like, come through a window like a ninja.
Yeah.
She is dead silent, too. So then Maria's hiding behind a crate, and they're in this building, and it's just this lighting, man. I tell you, it's so good.
I know.
Oh. And the woman who plays Muse, I mean, she's pretty. She is so scary. She's got this like dead eye stare.
Yes.
That is just creepy.
We're almost done. I can't wait to talk about it.
So Adam finds them and he calls to her, and he tells Muse to leave Maria alone. And Valerie is there with him, and she sees her.
Yeah.
And she's like, holy shit.
He said, this is real.
She's like, that's her. And then Muse walks up to him and he points the gun, Hector's gun.
Yes.
That he hid in the dresser.
Yep, he brought it with him.
Points it at her, and Muse embraces him. And then she breaks away and starts charging after Maria again.
Yeah.
And Adam shoots her.
Yeah. So that kind of fades out, and then we're in the woods. Adam and Valerie are sitting in a car. She says it's time. Adam gets out, and then we see him walking in the woods carrying Muse's body. He sets her down on the ground. He turns and walks away and then stops. He looks back, but we don't see what he's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to Valerie pulling up in the parking lot to the apartments. Maria is sitting outside, and Adam is not in the car. So Valerie gets out, then the camera moves, and you can see the passenger seat is empty. We cut back to the woods. We see Adam and Muse walking hand in hand, and they're very slowly walking deeper into the woods. And then we fade to the painting of the eyes that he did from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then credits roll. And that's the film.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that being the movie, let's immediately start talking about this woman. The actress,
God.
The character, the depiction, all about it.
Yeah. I loved her.
This was, and it was an excellent performance.
She was equal parts beautiful and terrifying.
Here's the funny thing. So a lot of, cause this thing had been out for festivals and out so long, before this 2020 thing. I got a chance to read a lot of older reviews, and a lot of people were like, the acting is dry and flat and wooden and stuff. I don't know what they're talking about. And I'm going to come back to that generally. But with her, I found myself thinking a lot about Redwood Massacre and how the actor who played Burlap, the Redwood Killer, but we call him Burlap, and that's his official name because David Ryan Keith started calling him Burlap.
I know, it's so exciting.
He's not in the credits that way, or in Annihilation. Wouldn't it be cool if he did change it though?
It would.
Before the theatrical release in January, or no, October. Duh.
I hope he does.
It would be cool. I'm gonna send him a note. He's calling Burlap. Anyway, that's another instance where, we have not, yes, he's a big time slasher murderer, but no voice and no facial features. We talked about comparing him with Jason.
Sure.
And Mike Myers. That's tough to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the actor who played Burlap, just with his body, was able to express his just, I'm just here to kill and I'm gearing up for it, or his exacerbation with something, It was awesome. With this, she did not speaking one fucking word.
Yeah.
Not one sound, really.
No, she was completely silent.
Right.
The whole way through.
But her, I guess, pixie beauty, because pixie's a lot of the like fairy folk of Irish lore are pixie-like.
Right.
Right. They're very demure, just kind of sharp features. She had just a look to her that, she was beautiful, but then in a fucking second, whoa.
Yeah.
And, no visual effects whatsoever.
Right. It was all practical.
It with her. Well, it was just her. It wasn't even effects. It was just her acting.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we would see where the beautiful thing gets the weird eyes or the fangs or some sort of shit to really like, the terrible thing. That part you talked about where she grabs his face and turns it towards her.
Yeah.
and you said it was like predatory.
Mm-hmm.
And it was. And that's, there was no, to me anyway, there was no instance in my mind where I thought, oh man, she's mad. First thing I thought was, oh shit, there it is.
She's dangerous.
This is what she is.
Yeah.
This isn't a little pixie. This isn't just a pretty silent woman.
Yeah.
She is what she is. And here's what I like about that. She did a great job doing that. It was written in such a way that I think it made it easy for the actress to do that. Because all the situations really seem to revolve around those moments.
Right.
In those scenes. So I think that was a very nice orchestrated balance of writing and actors' talent being able to come together. But one of the things I liked about this with her is she had no agenda.
Nope.
None. And especially in Irish mythology, but in all mythologies, things exist simply to exist. They don't have an agenda. They're not here to, rule the world. It's not this big demonic fucking takeover and stuff. These things just exist. She is a creature, and that's it. Mm-hmm. This is how she lives. This is her nature. This is it. It's not predatory. It's not evil.
And she just happens to be, attached to him.
Right. And in all things, and this goes back to like Aesop's fables, right? Everything has a cost.
Well, yeah.
All of the best luck in the world has to come with a price. And all the bad things that happen have something, a price or a cause or an effect kind of situation.
There's this weird idea in artistry that something external from yourself has the ability to pull out whatever it is that you need to create that exists inside you. Mm-hmm. Right? It's this weird sort of fantasy that like, I just need to find the right place to write or the right thing to paint.
Yeah.
Or the right, the right stone to sculpt.
Yeah. That thing that inspires you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because the Muse, the concept of the Muse goes back thousands of years.
Yes.
Right? Not hundreds. Okay. This goes back to,
at
who
knows? At the very least, the ancient Greeks.
Well, it goes back to when we were recording history. Mm-hmm. So yeah, ancient Greeks were among the first to record hallmarks and thoughts of civilization and stuff. So it wasn't like a history book, but still. And I think it comes down to this. So you have three people in a room. And they're just sitting there. Maybe they're all done work in the fields or whatever, but they're just sitting there. Maybe they're waiting for dinner or something. All of a sudden, one of them picks up a stick, starts scribbling shit out on the floor, draws a square, draws a circle with little legs. That's a cow. So he's drawing like the farm, right? The other two haven't done this, and they're looking on with awe, if not a little, what? It's at that moment that the mythology of the Muse, I think that kind of thing is what gave it birth in existence. Because someone who is not creative, not imaginative, and there are lots of people who can't create and see and envision beyond the logical. And that's fine, because we need those people too. We need people who can see just straight and not fantasize about shit. But, zeros and ones, man, zeros and ones, logic. We need that group too. We need all the groups that we have. But back then, especially when you're living in an era where anything out of the ordinary was witchcraft or possession or bad gods, right?
Yes.
I think that's where it was, is they can't fathom. And the guy who's drawing can't explain other than I just felt compelled.
I was thinking about it and I wanted to make it. Let's talk about the visual of this movie.
Yes.
So
Go for it.
I was just repeatedly over and over and over and over stunned and awed by the composition of the lighting throughout this entire film.
Yes.
It was just gorgeous. And it was done, I mean, we talked about it briefly while we were going through the movie, but it was done from, I mean, what I would imagine the point of view. You know, this is how Adam sees the world that he lives in.
The camera movement also. The movement of the camera in some of the scenes was equally well done with the composition. And that's the thing. You can see how much thought went into, because we know of instances where here's the scene and this is how the camera's going to move. So they'll move shit, right?
Yeah.
So to get the movement, you don't see things. You can see there's a consistency in Adam's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And things, it seems the movement is planned in conjunction with placement of the things. Like these, now you're going to make me do it. You know, it was really well done. It was masterful. I mean, that's one of the chief lessons of this film is just watch it for its visuals.
Yeah.
And understand, dissect it. You know, if it doesn't like become immediately apparent to you, oh, he did this, this, and this. I see what that. Watch it. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what made that scene look so good. What was the balance like?
It's stunningly composed.
Yeah. And you don't have to focus on the technical aspects of it, right? Just think of, okay, so visually, what would he maybe have done? Was it a dolly? Did he put stuff there? You know, do you think he did it with a long lens? You know, were they shooting in a confined space, long lens, and he was in tight? Or was it, you know, up close and personal? Just all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, it makes me think of, so I'm on a couple of groups in Reddit that have to do with filmmaking and composition and stuff. And there was a person who had posted a photo where they had wanted to recreate the look of the sun shining through blinds and creating those vertical or horizontal lines of light.
Okay. Coming in.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, if you think about, okay, if I wanted to recreate that look, right, of light, how would I go about doing that? There are dozens of ways that you could, right? You could attempt to capture it naturally. You're only going to have it for a little bit, right? And there's no way to guarantee that you can get it.
Right.
Right? So then you want to think about, how do you compose that artificially if you want to have it reliably? Right. And it's not as simple necessarily as just shining a light through some blinds that you've rigged up to some, poles.
Right.
Right?
Well, yeah, in that case.
It's an entire scenario of composition.
Yeah, there would be. So if I mean,
as an example is what I'm saying.
Well, no, yeah. Because it really depends. Where are you shooting this? Right. So if you're doing indie filming and you're shooting this in your house or a friend's house, right, where it's a freestanding structure, what you would typically do is in the room in question. And this is also are the fucking windows in the right place for what you want, right? So that's, you got to think way ahead of time. So all that falls together. So yeah, what you would normally see is a light setup outside of a window, and then that whole thing would be covered in black, either by visqueen or canvas or something. So that day or night, nothing comes through that window except that light setup. And then you have to get the right lights. You have to get the right filters on the lights, because here's the thing. I've talked about this with like color correction and stuff. If you fucking get it right in the lens, or as close to as you can, because there's some things that you need to, touch up and post. But if you get it right in the lens, you're going to have a much easier time doing anything. So, you got to think of the filters on it and what intensity does it need to be and what are you looking for? Because then you have 100% control over it, right? But now, are you talking about getting that light pattern on somebody, or do you want to see it shining through the room? Because then you got to think about, well, how do you see light? Can't see light in clean air, so you got to dirty it up. Do you want dust? Do you want mist? Do you want fog? There's a difference between the two.
Yeah. Well, the photo that they had used, it was on someone in a room. It was really beautifully composed. They said, I wanted to recreate this. Here's what I did. Here is the results. I'm going to lay out exactly what I did for all of you.
And that's cool.
It's a cool group.
Folks, there are no secrets to filmmaking. We've said this. There are no secrets to filmmaking. If you know something and it's good and people are like, whoa, share it. Encourage sharing, the only secrets that there are the script that you're writing, the plot, because you don't want to give that away. But when that's all said and done and you're putting it on film, the techniques that you use, share with people. And there's no reason not to,
I mean, there are groups out there, if you look and find them, there are groups out there that are like full of wonderfully supportive people.
Yes.
Who are going to share things that they've discovered.
Right.
And are going to, to give you feedback on things that you've discovered. Or thank you for like, oh my God, I've been wondering how to do that for so long.
Yeah.
Find a community like that, or find a couple. I just lurk in them a lot.
This whole thing with the Muse, I think it's very pertinent to creatives. This movie, this concept, it's just the concept of a muse in general. It's in you.
Well, yeah.
The fact that you're struggling, right? It's already in you. And you don't have to like uncover all these layers to find it. It just comes with kicking shit to the curb, all the self-doubt. And unfortunately, and we just had this conversation with our daughter today about surrounding yourself with people who support you.
Yeah.
The hallmark of family isn't blood relations. The hallmark of family are family members or friends. Anyone who supports you, is honest with you. When you fuck up, they'll call you on it. But they'll also help you out of it, steer you on the way, not downgrade, everything that you do. Because I grew up in a family of factory workers who could not fucking fathom, why do you like that Star Wars movie? Why are you getting those action figures? Because nothing like it had ever come out, but they also were so far gone. It didn't matter if they grew up with it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been onto it, and the whole writing thing.
Yeah. Well, and I grew up and, telling my mom in particular, I want to be a writer. And her response to that, I mean, she's not, she's a sweet woman, but she always responded. And I don't think she realized how much damage this really did, but she always responded, you're going to want to have a backup.
Yes. The few people that came close to orbiting that star of support usually were touting that banner. It's like, And I mean, folks, that's why we are here today. So it's 2020. Okay. I've been at this fucking odyssey since 1976. That's when I wrote my first story, right? I was 6 years old. And, like we've always said, life happens and a lot of things almost happened and then shit happened. You can waste an entire life listening to that bullshit. Better have a backup plan. Better do this, priority should be this and you should do that, that, and that. And, you can end up here from 1976 to 2020. Not that I'm just starting. I mean, it's been 8 since we met is when for both of us, it became real.
And serious.
Because it took that long for each of us to find one another. And that means the people who we're both into it.
And we push and support each other. Yeah,
we push, we challenge. And not everything we do is together. We have our own things we're working on, but we support and we're very honest. And, that sounds, how about, or, what is it trying to say kind of thing. It's very basic elementary conversation skills,
Well,
but we speak that language. That's the thing. We both speak the language of the creative so we can communicate to each other, even in as much as it's hard to explain a thing. What was he trying to say? Just try,
Right.
We can get there and we can get it.
We'll say, okay, well, I don't, okay. He's got to say something that expresses that he feels like, this and this and this, and the goal of what he needs to say
right.
is X.
Yeah. And I mean, it just all comes down to, we've said it before, so we're going to say it again. Find the people who support you. That's your family, not just your tribe. That's your family, the people who become your friends and share with you and work with you and allow you to do the same with them.
Right.
Right. Someone who just shows up to ride your ass, but then they're not actually doing any of this stuff. And that's you might want to think about that. It's that person. 'Cause it has to be, family is a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
Right? When one person's down, other people feel it and help bring everyone back up. And it's not always easy to disassociate yourself from your pattern and your path and your circle.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not to say if, you have loving, caring, supportive family members and they're just not into what you're doing, that they're, you throw them away. That's not it. Right. But if they're constantly trying to bring you down, no matter what it is, I mean, it's not just creatives, but in anything in life, anyone who's trying to bring you down and crush you, you need to fucking be done with them.
Yeah.
We said that. Positivity, even if it's painful honesty, it's still a positive thing. That is your family. That is your tribe. That is where you need to be with. And that, my friends, will help you find the muse in you, because that is where the muse is. It's just you. It's just you. Things will inspire you. Events, ideas, thoughts, things. Baking in Chaos was, our daughter inspired that with her little phrase, right? So, I mean, we could call her our muse, for that, but she didn't inspire the zombie flick. She didn't,
Well, yeah.
That's a little creepy if it did, but, then we walked in and she was trying to make a zombie one day. After we hit the bodies, we wrote a funny script about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and things like this movie. That's why we talk about B movies and independent films. They are the hallmarks of creation and creativity.
Yes.
You're going to see people who make good films in a blockbuster, A-list movie. You're going to find some good stories, obviously good performances here and there. And it's like Apollo 13, fucking awesome musical score. And there's so many movies we can pick out for that fact, but not a lot of them take leaps. Not a lot of them introduce really wild ass turns on.
Not a lot of them
things.
take big risks.
Right. So you go to the B movies where they're like, if we make 5 million worldwide on this in the next 2 years, it pays for itself and we're done. And we got theater play and we got our name out there. Right.
We can make another thing.
Independent film is like, man, whatever I can make.
Yeah.
Whatever I can make. I'd like to make my budget back and a little more.
Yeah.
But, and again, I'm going to think of Ryan Kruger. 3 pages of notes and 6 lines of dialogue that had to be said. And he made a fucking feature and convinced an investor, a producer, and everyone to do it. That's the rock solid shit that comes from it. So turn to these movies and find your inspiration. Look at the people who just do it.
Yeah.
For good or bad. And like we said, every movie, and there are some I think that are just universally considered bad. Not just our opinion, not a handful of opinions. I think we've seen a few that, other than the people who made it, no one can look at this and go,
I mean, even the people who made it might look at it and go,
Yeah, I know. So anyway. Beautiful lighting. Music was good.
Yeah, the music was good.
Tonally matched everything. Wasn't garage band, friends band stuff.
The cinematic composition, framing was all very good.
The direction was good.
Acting was good.
Acting was good. That's the other thing I just want to say again. This is a bland existence. And a bland existence finds itself in a bland environment. So the acting wasn't bland, but the characters, you could tell, were just, like we have the drug dealer. We know where his focus is. We have the art groupie. We know her focus is. We have the gallery owner who, she does her bit, but she's also living the gallery owner life.
Well,
right?
It was simple.
Yeah. She needs to, have shit that makes money, and she sees talent and she likes to encourage it because it's also going to make her money if she has it in her gallery.
Well,
there's a business side to it.
For the purpose of this film, these characters did not need to have an extraordinary amount of depth.
No. Because none of it would have lent anything to the story.
No.
The story was pretty simple.
Yeah. Simple.
This is actually fairly simple storytelling. Mythical creature. This is what it does. This guy, latches onto it.
I mean, even Adam, as the main character, didn't need really any more depth than they gave him. And the extent of his depth as a character was he was a struggling artist.
Right. And I think his dialogue and exchanges gave us exactly what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't take us, through this long roller coaster ride of who is Adam at his core. Right.
Yeah.
We got it. He's an artist and he's having some troubles.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need to know.
Basically.
I don't know how many fucking dogs bit him when he was a kid. It's not important.
Like, for me, the biggest lesson that I am kind of taking from this movie is that visually, they made the tone match the story just so perfectly. It's a story about an artist. The look should be artistic, and it was.
Yeah. I would explain it as, listeners, have you ever just watched a movie or listened to a song, right? A performance type thing. Have you ever just experienced it and just had that feeling it couldn't have been any other way?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because people are always like, what do you think would this, how do you think this would have been if so-and-so played the part? So-and-so played the part. So there are just things you look at and you don't even think that. You're just like, this couldn't have been any other way.
This is perfect.
Yep. This is it.
Yeah.
Bam. That's kind of what this movie is. Mm-hmm. It's not going to rattle the columns of story structure and, all that.
Right.
But it is going to find itself on a nice little podium in the museum of, hey, this was pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
On almost all levels.
Mm-hmm.
The only level it wasn't good on is I'd like to know what the fuck is with the story or the title, the story behind
sure.
the
title change,
3-year journey of what happened, which, maybe we can luck out and have a convo.
We'll see.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. So with that.
Yeah.
Please go check out our website. It is www.lordsofmisruleproductions.com. Got it right. Wasn't going to slip at all.
All in one breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is on there, folks. Links to everything. We're not going to spread it out or spell it out. Podcast platform subscriptions, social media, our email links, link to our Patreon page. Check them all out.
Mm-hmm.
And, share. And then, while you're sharing, since you're already tapping and clicking,
give us a rating.
Give us a
review on your
review.
Podcast listening platform of choice.
Yeah. And if you're one of those who don't have a platform, because we have a lot of people listening from the website.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. Which, is fine. I mean, that's why the episodes are there.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the links I have take us to, I've stopped putting links to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that shit. It's just, go to the website. Links are there if you want to go to your platform.
Mm-hmm.
But at least while you're there, you can see all the episodes and stuff. So anyway,
you can even link the RSS feed to whatever it is that you want to listen.
Yeah, we have our RSS link and subscribe by email,
mm-hmm.
And that takes you right back to that. So, That's all there. But yeah, if that's how you listen and you don't have any of these avenues to do anything, because I don't have comments enabled, because that's just a nightmare to manage. It's just an episode listing. Do send us an email.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I like this or whatever. And yeah, you guys are good. Butter us up for fuck's sake.
Right?
But also,
write us an email about what you didn't like and we'll just put it on a t-shirt.
Yep.
And wear it.
Yep. Maybe. Anyway, we want to hear from you. We've talked about, if you're creative in any part of this industry, we want to hear from you. We also want to hear from you as a fan of film, right? We would love to get into a conversation with some movie lovers.
Yeah.
Our whole thing with Miles on a Disc Dump podcast was great to do because he's a movie lover.
Yeah. And you should check out his podcast because it's great.
Yep. Look for him at Twitter. It's at
The Disc Dump.
The Disc Dump. DISC, not K. All one word, The Disc Dump. If you follow us on Twitter, you'll see him a lot popping up. He's been retweeting a lot of things. I'm surprised how many people are out there asking, what are some good podcasts to listen to?
He's so good at finding those.
I know. Holy shit.
He's on them right away.
Like 25 an hour. It's crazy. Yeah. If you have a podcast on movies and you'd like to, just shoot the shit or discuss, maybe we could even, be on your show or you could be on our show. This whole thing survives by all of us coming together, not just people who make the shit, but the people who view it.
I love it.
Yeah. The cinephiles must unite, and even if you're like a genre cinephile, if you're just strictly horror, we love horror.
One of us.
Yeah, one of us. If you're strictly drama or experimental, we love all that stuff. So we'd love to chat. Don't be afraid. We've had some people reaching out and it's been fun.
Thank you for listening. We will catch you next week. Until then, I'm Danny.
I'm Jim.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.